Hey everyone, Itaro here, bringing you another Soulcalibur VI video. So, the network beta has officially closed, and I wanted to give my first impressions about Soulcalibur VI as a whole online, because I made a video prior that it was about to be released and uploaded, etc., etc., that I was not able to actually play the online before I actually made the entire suggestion, so I decided to make online in its own separate video. The first thing I want to say is, even for a beta, this netcode is actually surpassed all my expectations. I expected something similar along the lines of maybe MKX pre-patch of MKXL, or, something along the lines of how Dragon Ball FighterZ originally was when they had their demo, where you could only play it for roughly 26 seconds before getting disconnected for 3 days. This one, interestingly enough, at least on the Xbox One version, I've heard horror stories about PS4, but this is going solely off of the Xbox version. I never had an issue, and by never having an issue, I mean the fact that I only had to restart the game a couple of times just to refresh my own connection and make sure I could find matches more reliably. Now, the thing about it is yes, there were lag spikes and everything else, but you can't really blame Namco or anything for that. You just have to take it with a grain of salt because, again, this is the network test. They can fine-tune it immensely before launch. So that's one thing that I found completely shocking, was the fact that you could have it set to 3 bars and it would feel like offline, or it would feel something close to offline, or something of that nature, because I've had some exceptionally smooth matches that never dropped, never had any lag or anything else, and it was like, oh my god, this is amazing. Now, the other thing that I would think of that I hope is in the main release, I can't see it because you can't access anything else, is when you click network, I hope that there's a replay option that's instigated there, because I was not able to actually see or tell what exactly or where it would actually be. Now, the reason for replay is obviously because, you have a really hype match, you want to go and save it and record it and everything else. But also on the same fact that, how are you going to learn if you have a really good match and you can't actually go back and watch it, learn from your mistakes, and so on and so forth? People overlook replay mode, to be fair. They think that it's not nearly a, I guess you could say, necessity, but in all reality, it actually is, because you never know what you're going to learn or what crazy glitch is going to happen, because how are you going to be able to actually say, oh yeah, this was amazing, but it's like, I want to rewatch it. I want to study it. You need a replay mode for any type of online fighter and everything else. I've had my fair share of things in Tekken and so on and so forth that I wish were recorded, but because there was no option for it, and there was no mode for it or anything else, it just kind of fall flat and just disappeared into the aether. So I'm kind of hoping that Soulcalibur VI will have a replay mode at launch. The number 3 thing is, I really hope that they instigate a meter, a bar, showing you the live connection between you and your opponent, either in dead center or dead center bottom, because there have been times where you could feel the lag, or the audio would loop. I'm pretty sure you've all experienced this, where the audio will loop and everything else, but there is no real drop in connection. There might be a stutter or two, in whatever animation is happening, but it's in the combo, so who cares? But I would like to see it, because I would love to see what it actually might be fluxing to, or just in general, if it's actually a very strong signal, a weak signal, and so on and so forth. This helps actually understand, okay, so this is what it really feels like, because when you end up actually rematching or, going to that next screen, it will always constantly show either 4 or better. You will rarely ever see a 2-bar or even a 3-bar in that. It will always say it's perfect connection. So I kind of hope they fine-tune that. The 4th thing that I would really hope that they would actually do is, I hope that they actually make it to where you can see the region and the gamer tag, or just in general what rank they are before you actually get connected. Now, the reason why this is a big thing is because if you hide who somebody is and everything else, and they were either really laggy or they were rage quitting against you or anything else, you don't want to be matched up with them again. That's just the bare bones basic of it. You know, that is the number one thing. I really hope that they instigate something to where it's, you can choose and see who your opponent is. What I personally would like is maybe they could make it to where you could have a choice of 4 opponents. So you could pick who you actually want to fight based on connection and so on and so forth. Kind of like ranked match meets lobby match type of thing. It would actually be really nice if you could actually choose a different person, because you could actually be like, oh, this person mains Tiro, this person mains Nightmare, Siegfried, Maxi. And you could choose that person so you could get the matchup knowledge that you actually personally want. Now, for me, what I would use this system for is obviously for good connection, but also for the fact that if I'm having a tough time with a certain character, I don't want to face another character, lull myself back into a bad habit, and be like, oh shit, now I'm just getting destroyed. I don't want that. I highly doubt anyone really wants that. So, something of that nature, or just in general where we could identify who our opponent is going to be, that would be amazing. I would absolutely love that. The 5th and final thing I would have to say that I would love to see as a whole is, can we have some sort of punishment for rage quitters, or just in general for, you know, people who are like that? Now, the only reason I'm suggesting this is because Dragon Ball FighterZ is really a cesspool with that. Like, there's literally nothing wrong with it. Obviously, if you do it too much, you get put in this jail, air quotations, or your name is highlighted in purple. But that's not enough, because people are going to abuse anything that doesn't have a punishment attached to it. The way I feel would be a decent way of doing it is, now, I know this is going to sound stupid, or not stupid, but just kind of like, is if you rage quit, or if the lobby drops or something like that, the challenger gets a credit of the win. Now, the way I'm meaning this is, in Soulcalibur V, there was a way to tell between a plug, a connection drop, or just a rage quit in general. They had a connection has been lost, your opponent has left the lobby, and connection lost to host, I believe, was the third one. That one was a weird one, but it would actually be able to tell who left and penalize that person while actually giving the win to the proper person who stayed connected. This would be an amazing system, and on top of that, if they continuously do it, they should be actually pulled out of ranked and forced to actually stay off of ranked for X amount of minutes, or if they continuously keep doing it and doing it and doing it, they get banned outright from playing ranked. Like, they could still do it in player matches, obviously, but at that point, you know, player matches, you can choose who you want to be around anyway, so you have all the power there. So it's just like, okay, well, whatever. So the way I see it is, the online is going in an extremely well-off direction. I have to say, I am pleasantly surprised that they decided to do so well with their first attempt. Like, you gotta realize, again, this is just the beta. This is just them testing it. Imagine the final freaking product. It's gonna be outrageous. Now, for all the people that are on PS4 and everything else, I wish I could understand why the load times were so bad, but honestly, I'm going to chalk that up to Sony infrastructure, because of the fact that PSN, I feel, always had a weird, how shall I say, a weird connection problem, where it would take you a while to find somebody, but once you did connect with them, it was actually really solid. That was like the one gripe I had with Soulcalibur V PSN Edition and Xbox 360. Xbox 360, you could pretty much connect to everyone, and it was just it wasn't flawless. It was just, you know, seamless. With Sony, it's like they kind of take a more strict approach, I guess it would be. Is, you know, it's just weird, because I would not be able to connect to a lobby, and then if I did connect, it was always a 4 or 5, or it was like just steady like that. But also, I just think that the Sony infrastructure is a little bit too fluxy, like it's still insecure as a whole, because lag spikes kill everything. Like, at least on Xbox, I've noticed that when a lag spike happens, it kind of fixes itself. It unfucks its face. With Sony, it just kind of fucks its face, and it's like, okay, I'm done. So, let me know what you guys think. What would you actually like to see in the online mode? Did you think they did a great job, or do you think that there's like quite a bit that's needed or would actually still be needed to make it just an immaculate online experience? This is Itaroda signing off. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope to see you in the next video. Again, let me know what you guys think of the beta, what was your hypest moments, and everything else. Take care, everyone, and be safe. Later!
The goddess of